on the American Dream Business Roundtable with my co-host Greg Noe and our guest today, Michael McCormick. And you know, I have to understand this because really having a little small business, and we do have with our professional referral group, we have a lot of small businesses and even some corporations. How would your program apply, and it applies differently or similar?
When you say program, you're referring to the education program that's coming
Yes,
up.
the educational program.
Okay. I would suggest that for a business that's been around for a while, they probably have already developed some metrics or are already relying on some measures of success.
Right.
What the program may do is help them fine-tune to determine whether or not those are the correct or optimal indicators for their business. For the newer entity, the brand new business, which I think is what most of the attendees might be, it's going to help them formulate what their indicators are for their business. Help them come away from the class with 1 to 5 ideas for what may be important to measure in their business. Those may not be the measures or metrics that they use for the life of their business, but at least gives them a starting point, something to start with.
And one of the things that I would like to discuss here is how our financial statements are organized. Unfortunately, for example, the IRS on a Schedule C, when they list all the expenses, they don't really care at all about what order they're in. They list them in alphabetic order.
For the most part,
Really?
it's alphabetically,
Yeah. Whereas for a business owner, we would really, or their coach or consultant, we would really like to have all their direct costs appear above the gross profit margin line. There's various reasons for that. It's a lot easier to calculate break even. You can track some of these metrics a lot easier.
As a starting point, absolutely. You can work from the financial statement.
Can I ask that question right here? Because I have QuickBooks. So when I do my QuickBooks, it's got all these different reports and everything. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, but even QuickBooks doesn't put the accounts in any particular order.
By default, QuickBooks will not assign account numbers, and it will rank or list the accounts in alphabetical order for the most part. Now you can alter that, and that's obviously what we do in our business. That's where we
want our clients to do, is to modify those. Well, for example, in my business, I have a salesperson, and that's a direct cost. I pay a commission to somebody who brings business to me. Whereas my costs are not directly related to bringing in business, and so the salesperson's labor costs would be included above the gross profit margin line, whereas mine would be below it.
Okay.
They're indirect costs. Whether there's more sales or not, my expenses are still there.
You're going to get paid.
I'm going to get paid.
As long as there's sales.
Right.
Right.
There's other things, and I want to make this point. Many years ago, when I first got into consulting, I had a client who ran a rent-to-own business, and they kept meticulous records. And I was asked to come in and evaluate and see if I could make things run better. And after a week of looking at the records, I came back to the owner and I said, I don't have access to all your records. I didn't get all your payroll records. But I can tell you that whomever is working on Wednesday nights is stealing from you.
I have a similar story when you're finished.
You can get that kind of specificity. And the owner said, oh, really? Well, because I know who works Wednesday nights. She had the rest of the information. And the point is, you can run a business in very deep terms.
Well, I think the point is, you can generate as many financial reports as you want. You can create as many metrics or matrices as you want. The issue is understanding what the numbers are telling you so
Right.
that you can run a better business.
That's right, and
You know,
that's
that's
what
the
I
key,
said.
you know.
I've got 2 CPAs here,
Yeah.
basically, right?
That is the key.
That's the key.
You want to run a better, more profitable business,
Right.
and these are tools to help you do that.
Right.
The example Greg gave is great. The example that I have is very similar. It's a bar. The owner was absentee.
Okay.
The gross profit margin for this facility was somewhere in the neighborhood of 20%.
Wow.
A bar.
Wow.
And I said, well, somebody is stealing from you. I said, they're robbing you blind. I said, they're either carrying out alcohol, the beer, they're carrying it out, or they're not ringing sales. They wouldn't do that to me, she says. I said, they're robbing you blind. Because a bar should have somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 to 80% gross profit.
Let's let our viewers understand this a little better. When he says that the gross profit margin is 20%, that means that 80% is being used in all the direct costs, basically all the liquor.
That's
and
right.
leaving the 20% to cover everything else,
to pay
the
payroll,
rent, the
yeah.
insurance,
That's right.
and
20% is going to cover it?
and
Well, that
we
was
use it.
that.
And
It's not. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
That's the light bulb
Do you find that a lot of restaurant owners really don't, a lot of them are chefs that are
Yeah.
just out of chef school or whatever, and they want a restaurant, and they're somehow in trouble?
Well, it's not just restaurant owners.
It's bars.
It's
a lot.
It's all businesses.
Yeah, it's all.
All
You
businesses.
have, and I think it's a great thing for people to be in business, but a lot of times it's the enthusiast or the person that is so entrenched in the thing,
Right.
whether it's the chef or the bicycle shop owner or the whatever small business it might be. They're so entrenched in the thing that they're not really there to run a business. It's almost I'll say hobby-like. It's not a hobby because it's providing some sort of income for them, but it's not necessarily a.
They provide expertise from
yeah.
some area in the world, and they didn't go to business school, and nobody was born knowing this stuff.
Right.
But it just points out the need to work with somebody who is knowledgeable about these things and can keep them from losing money. And it's, I've seen some TV shows, there's one in particular where they'll interview a bar owner and they'll say, well, how much debt do you have? I'm $800,000 in debt running a bar. It's like, well, how did it get this bad, this far?
Right, you should have known there was a problem long before we got here.
Even Shark Tank, when the owners of businesses come on, or the inventors, and they've got all this debt, and you go, they'll just look at them and say, we're not wanting to invest.
Well, I think Shark Tank and Bar Rescue and a couple of other shows are shows that business owners should be watching.
They should.
When you watch Shark Tank and the people are coming on, they're doing their pitch and they want $200,000 for 10% of their business, and they haven't sold anything yet.
Or 5%.
They're presenting it as a $2 million business, but they don't realize that.
Right.
All they think is they need $200,000. But
or if they have a promise for maybe.
And they were told to keep as much of the business as possible.
That's right. So what I think that teaches business owners watching is to help them really formulate, what is my business really worth?
Right.
Get them thinking about that.
Well, and I try to emphasize exit strategies right up front for various reasons. And we can get more into this in our next session. But I think we're going to have to take a break here in a minute or two.
Yeah, we are taking.
We're taking one right now.
Yeah.
So, Kathryn, what is your Prime website?
My Prime website is KathrynRaaker.com.
Notice we have to say Prime websites now because
multiple.
Can we all have multiple websites?
Well, and that's the reason why I branded myself under one name with all the websites under it. It makes it easier.
Well, compartmentalization is a good thing.
All of my subdomains point to a page somewhere on the base website.
And
my website is CincyTaxCoach.com, CINCY taxcoach.com.
And if anyone would be interested in helping in the nonprofit sector, please go to ExcelsiorInstitute.org. That's EXCELSIOR. And it means always upward. That's our attitude at the Excelsior Institute, but excelsiorinstitute.org.
And we'll be right back.
Thank you.